Go ahead and close your eyes. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Allow the muscles in your face to droop down. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Go ahead and open up your eyes. Hello and welcome to Mindful Moves. My name is Dans and I'm so happy that you're here this week. We are going to be speaking about a topic that was probably the most difficult for me. And the topic is forgiveness. And we've been speaking a lot about nature and the natural cycles of life and us in our natural state. And I'm here to say that in your most natural state, you're not holding on to anything that no longer serves you. You have let go of that. And I know that this topic can already spark something in people that I say the word forgiveness and immediately something may come up for you. It may be an event, it may be a family member, it could be a friend, whatever it could be. This idea of forgiveness will be personal and it will come up in times that you don't really expect it to. And what it's reminding you is that we are by nature not supposed to hold on to grudges. It's something that it's a heavy emotion, it sits with us, and we're supposed to let go. Just as there's a flow in life, the rhythm of life, it requires letting go and moving forward with your life and moving onwards. A river doesn't stop flowing for any other reason because it just is supposed to flow. Exactly the same with us and how we live our lives and our emotions. And our emotions are supposed to pass through us, and we so often won't even give that time to an emotion to feel it. So someone may have hurt us, and instead of feeling what we had to in that moment, we decided to bottle it up and squeeze it deep down and hold a grudge or whatever it may be and just never forgive this person. Now, the idea of forgiving someone is a really hard topic for many, especially if you've been carrying this around for a while. It's a very heavy thing to carry. So we're going to start off, as I do with most of the things that I teach you, we're going to do something small. But ultimately, this is going to be big because it's going to rocket your success for being able to let go of things much easier. And we're going to start by forgiving yourself. And a lot of us don't realize how incredibly difficult it is to do that if we have the mentality that we don't have this deep connection with ourselves. I want you to know that you are connected to yourself. But whether you choose to be aware of that and to dive deeper into that is your choice. And if you're able to find it in your heart to go inwards and forgive yourself for actions, maybe the way you treated yourself. Let's start there. A lot of the time we like to focus on how we've treated others and having to forgive others. But if we go inwards and we really self-investigate, we realize that why we hold on so deeply to other people wronging us is because we haven't really cultivated a rhythm of letting go of what we've done. So if you're able to, my biggest tip is to write yourself a forgiveness letter. And this would maybe take a few minutes, depending on how open you will be. But being able to forgive yourself for how you treated yourself in the past or how you treated others is the route to really having freedom in your life. Because being able to say, "Dear Dans, I forgive you for how you used to treat yourself, for how you used to belittle yourself, for having all of these ideas and beliefs of yourself that were so negative. I forgive you for that. I also forgive you for living in survival mode and through that hurting other people. And I forgive you for everything that has accumulated that made you feel not good enough. I'm sorry, And I think that this is a key aspect to being able to forgive yourself. If you're able to put it onto pen to paper and tell yourself, hey, I'm here for you. Whatever happened in the past, however you used to treat yourself, it's okay. And now remember, you don't just forgive yourself if you're doing the wrong thing the whole time. Of course, you need to cultivate being able to forgive yourself, but you also need to take responsibility and learn your lessons. And this is a big thing, especially on my journey. There were times where I wasn't myself. Through circumstances around me, I wasn't fully myself. And through that, I hurt people in my life, as I think we all have. When you hurt people, it's a direct reflection of how you are feeling on the inside and projecting out. And at a time in my life, I just wasn't a happy person, and I wasn't feeling my emotions, and I would just let that out onto other people. And being able to stop, pause, reflect, and realize that that was actually vital to my growth has been everything, because I used to be so hard on myself. I used to be like, I can't believe what you did. I can't believe how you spoke to yourself or what I did to others. And it comes down to the fact that you will never guarantee being forgiven by anybody else. You can't. You can't force anyone to do it either. But you can forgive yourself. Because if you've truly reflected and you've grown from a situation, any negative situation you've been in, if you've learned a lesson that is now infiltrated into your morals, your values, your character, then it's been a great lesson to have. And forgiving your past self may feel difficult in the moment because you think of what happened and you get that ugly feeling inside, and you need to take that feeling and realize that's the part of yourself that needs the most love. That's the part of yourself that actually needs your awareness. We are so quick to ignore that feeling. Your shadow self can feel sticky. It can feel difficult to dive into. But that part of yourself is part of yourself. It's still part of you. It's a huge part of you. We were speaking about duality in an episode or so earlier, and this is the same within you. You have your shadow self, you have your light self, and you can't just pretend that the shadow self doesn't exist, but learning to embrace it and starting off by saying, hey, I forgive you. I understand why you acted the way you did, not justified, and that's not going to happen again. But I want you to know that I'm there for you. And being there for yourself and being able to forgive yourself is the biggest gift you can give yourself, because so often we will just walk through life and never acknowledge the hurt that we may have placed upon ourselves or onto others. And becoming self-aware allows you to realize that these were lessons. And if you can forgive yourself, then the next step, naturally, of forgiving others will come easier, because you will realize that relief that you feel from forgiving yourself, you will naturally feel being able to say sorry to people as well. I have struggled in the past with, if I'm in a fight, I get very triggered or heated, or in a disagreement. And yeah, when I was a kid, I would just explode. And I realize now that that was just all my emotions that had been stored up that I never felt. And I could look at it and think, oh, I was such a terrible, misbehaved, whatever child. Or I could look at it and think, I'm grateful for that time and I forgive you for being that way. I forgive you for acting out. You are obviously dealing with a lot, and it's shaped a lot of who I am. And being able to do that, now if I'm ever triggered, it's so easy for me to apologize. Forgiveness and apologizing goes hand in hand. If you are able to forgive yourself relatively easily, and you know that it's a practice in your life, you're able to apologize much quicker. Now, if I am in a debate or whatever it may be, I generally just don't get upset. But if I did, I'm able to now say, oh, wow, my tone was not so nice there. I'm just very upset. Let me take a moment. And one doesn't feel this pride covering your whole life or covering that moment, because it's so easy for us to think it. But to be able to say that out loud to others is also key. And yeah, practicing how to forgive yourself will also allow you to apologize much easier. And honestly, these are just things that hold us down, and the weight starts lifting off you once you start this process. Go ahead and write yourself a letter, a forgiveness letter, or even write an apology letter if you have an apology to make towards yourself to anyone. Practice this art of letting go. This is the main theme of forgiveness and apologies. It's letting go of this heavy feeling and being able to acknowledge what it served you and implement those changes into your life, because it's supposed to be a lesson. Obviously, don't go through life making mistakes the whole time and never really learning from it, but go through life finding why something happened and implementing that for yourself into your life. And practicing this will feel good, not immediately, but it will feel good as it moves on. And being able to reflect like that will show great strength in character. And ultimately, as we've said, we're developing a mindset shift, a different perspective, and how lovely to be able to shift into the perspective of grace, letting go, peace. That's what we're ultimately doing. And so many of us say, oh, I want a peaceful life. I want to have a chilled life. I want everything to be calm. But we are not giving that out. We're not dishing that out. We can't get something or receive something if that's not what we're sending out. It's a vibrational match. If you are going to hold on to things and never forgive yourself, anyone in your life, the person from second grade who stole your seat, whatever it may be, if you are holding on to these things, you will not be able to have a peaceful life, because then if you're faced in a situation where you have to forgive someone or you're angry and you need to calm down and change your behavior, you need to learn how to find that peace within yourself first. And finding it first means that it can reflect into the rest of your life. It's not easy to be peaceful when someone else is triggered and you're triggered. It's difficult. But when you practice this and realize constantly throughout your day, the week, you're constantly letting go, this act of forgiveness and apologizing comes really easily to you. And yeah, I think that so often we overlook, especially the forgiveness within the self. This was something that was huge on my journey, and I was learning a lot and I was diving deep into who I am, what I am. And every time it would get to the part about, looking at my actions, looking at how I treated myself, I would just gloss over that and avoid it. And there's a reason for it. Being able to do it with yourself makes it 100 times easier to do it with those around you. And as I mentioned in the previous episode with cycles, we have this glimmer of time here in our human experience. And if we are holding on to the negative emotions, we're not allowing ourselves to feel the full spectrum of all the other amazing emotions there are. So find a practice that works for you. Write a letter to yourself. Say it in the mirror if you don't want to put it on paper. Whatever it may be, take a moment for forgiveness, for being able to apologize, for mainly letting go. Remember that the light that you're constantly seeking outside of yourself is waiting to be acknowledged within. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so looking forward to seeing you next week. Have a beautiful day.